Welcome back to Superbly Said Advanced English Vocabulary and Phrases.
Today we're analyzing some powerful, high-level vocabulary, and it's all drawn directly from a SpeakDuo lesson.
That's right. And if you want to confidently practice your English speaking, you can go to SpeakDuo.com to meet new people from all over the world.
It's a great way to build fluency.
Absolutely. So let's just dive right in. The first phrase for our advanced learners is smoke and mirrors.
A classic.
It really is. The core meaning is essentially a trick. It's an illusion that's used to make something look much better or more real than it actually is.
Right. And I think it's important to compare smoke and mirrors to something simpler, maybe like a white lie or a simple deception.
Good point. How would you differentiate them?
Well, a white lie is small, usually to spare someone's feelings. But smoke and mirrors, that implies something far more elaborate. It's a calculated illusion. It's built to hide a really substantial problem or deficiency.
So we're talking about big claims.
Exactly. A company's financial health, or maybe a tech startup's big promise. It suggests a huge amount of effort went into the superficial presentation.
And almost none into the actual substance.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's think of an example. I've heard this one. Success without inner peace is just smoke and mirrors. It sounds profound, but
It works. It gets the idea across that the external appearance of success is hiding an internal emptiness.
right. For more professional context, maybe for an IELTS response, you could say something like, the Q3 reports, though impressive in presentation, fall like smoke and mirrors, ultimately hiding fundamental cash flow problems in the subsidiary division.
That's perfect. It shows you understand the scale and the deliberate deception implied by the phrase.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. To come to pass.
This one has a very different feel.
It does. The basic definition is simply for something to become reality or to happen eventually.
So, how does that differ from, say, the verb to materialize? They seem pretty similar on the surface.
They are, but there's a subtle difference in tone. To materialize just means to appear or become real. An idea materializes.
Right. It's quite neutral.
Exactly. But to come to pass often carries a more formal, almost literary or even prophetic tone.
So it implies an event that happens after a long period of waiting, or maybe after a lot of difficulty.
Yes, or sometimes against initial skepticism. There's a weight to it.
I see. So a package materializes on your doorstep.
But a long-awaited peace treaty comes to pass.
Got it.
An inspirational example you might see is, let go of controlling exactly how your dreams will come to pass.
Which is nice, but for a formal context?
For an IELTS answer or in a formal discussion, you'd want something more grounded. For example, despite initial skepticism from analysts, the company's long-term prediction about remote work flexibility did eventually come to pass.
That nails it. It captures that sense of time and overcoming doubt.
Okay, next up, to tap into.
This is a great one for business and personal development contexts.
For sure. The definition is to access and use a hidden power, or some kind of energy or ability inside you. Or it could be a latent resource in the world.
Okay, so let's compare that to a more common verb like to utilize. What's the real nuance here?
Well, to utilize is pretty neutral. You can utilize any resource, right? You utilize a tool, you utilize a budget.
Very straightforward.
But to tap into specifically suggests you're accessing a source that was previously hidden or deep or untapped.
Latent potential.
Exactly. You're making a discovery or a deliberate effort to reach and leverage this inner reserve.
Or an external one.
Like creativity or an undiscovered market segment.
Perfect. A personal example might be, when I tap into my creativity, I feel like I can do anything. Which is fine, but again, for that professional edge.
For that, you'd frame it like this. The new marketing strategy aims to tap into the younger demographic's latent desire for sustainable products.
A segment currently overlooked by competitors. Yes, that shows you're accessing a hidden opportunity. I like that.
Okay, our fourth phrase is a bit more grammatical, but very powerful. Not the least of which.
Ooh, this is a very elegant one. It really elevates your writing and speaking.
It does. It's a phrase you use to highlight that a specific example you're about to mention is one of the most important factors in a list, if not the most important.
So how is that different from just saying, most importantly?
That's the key comparison. Most importantly, tends to just isolate the single highest priority. It kind of dismisses everything else.
It puts one thing at the top of the pyramid.
Right. But not the least of which is often used mid-sentence inside a list, and it elegantly elevates one item's importance without dismissing the others.
So you're saying all of these things matter, but pay special attention to this one.
Precisely. It confirms its high significance in a more sophisticated way.
Makes sense?
A personal example could be, I learned many lessons from my father, not the least of which was to follow my passion.
Mm-hmm. And a formal one?
For a formal context, the international expansion process faces several complex challenges, not the least of which is securing the necessary governmental permits in time.
That's a great example. It shows there are many challenges, but the permits are a particularly significant hurdle.
Okay, our last phrase before the quiz. To walk through fire.
Now this one is intense.
Very.
The definition is to suffer through a very difficult or painful situation to get what you want. It indicates extreme dedication and commitment.
So let's compare this to something that also means effort, like to go the extra mile. People might confuse them.
They might, but the difference in intensity is massive. To go the extra mile means putting in extra effort beyond what's expected. You stay an hour late at work.
You make a few extra calls.
Exactly. But to walk through fire is a powerful metaphor for enduring serious, maybe even destructive hardship. It's about personal suffering and sacrifice.
It goes way beyond just extra effort.
Far beyond. There's a philosophical example. Hope is a beggar, but faith walks through the fire.
Wow. Yeah, that really paints a picture. And in a work context?
You'd use it for a truly extreme situation. When the client unexpectedly moved up the deadline, the core development team essentially walked through fire, working continuous 18-hour days to ensure the launch was successful.
Okay, that definitely isn't just going the extra mile. That's real hardship.
All right, time to test how well those nuanced meanings have resonated. We're going to use 8 phrases in context.
Let's do it.
Quiz question 1. The investors eventually realized that the startup's promised technology was just smoke and mirrors. What does the phrase smoke and mirrors suggest about the technology? Is it option A, it was a chaotic and disorganized project that needed management? Option B, it was an elaborate illusion designed to obscure a lack of substance? Or option C, it was a highly innovative concept that was simply ahead of its time?
Feel free to pause here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option B. It suggests the technology was just smoke and mirrors, an elaborate illusion designed to hide that the product wasn't real or substantial, just like we discussed with that Q3 report example.
A facade.
Exactly. Okay, question 2. Though the prophecy seemed unlikely at the time, the historian noted that it did eventually come to pass. In this context, come to pass means 2. Option A, materialize as reality after a significant duration. Option B, repeat itself in a cyclical and predictable manner. Option C, fade gradually into obscurity after a long period.
And again, you can pause here to think it over.
The correct answer is option A. When something comes to pass, it becomes real, often after time has elapsed. Similar to how those long-term business predictions we talked about finally came true.
That element of time is key.
It is. Question 3. To solve the energy crisis, the city needs to tap into the unused potential of geothermal sources. To tap into effectively means to. Option A, access and utilize a latent resource or internal strength. Option B, conduct a superficial investigation into the root causes. Option C, physically connect multiple networks into a single grid. Take a moment to pause if you need to.
The correct answer is, of course, option A. To tap into means accessing a hidden or latent potential, just like we suggested a marketing strategy should tap into a new demographic.
Unlocking something that was already there. Yes. Question 4. The merger faces several significant hurdles, not the least of which is the strict regulatory approval. What does not the least of which emphasize about the regulatory approval? Option A. It is the final and least problematic detail in the entire list. Option B. It is one of the most important or significant factors mentioned. Option C. It is the only exception to an otherwise smooth and easy process. Feel free to pause and consider the nuance.
The correct answer is option B. Saying it is not the least of which signals that the regulatory approval is highly important, standing out among the other hurdles, just like the governmental permits we discussed earlier.
It elevates it without canceling out the other points. Right. Question 5. Right before the critical presentation, the main server started to act up, causing panic in the IT department. If the server started to act up, it, option A, operated at a speed much higher than its rated capacity. Option B, began to malfunction or behave erratically and poorly. Option C, shut down completely and permanently without warning.
Pause here if you like.
The correct answer is option B. When something acts up, it behaves badly or malfunctions. It's a common and very useful phrase.
We see it with technology, with kids, with old cars.
All the time. Okay, question 6. By anticipating the market shift years ago, the company remained ahead of the game throughout the recession. Being ahead of the game implies that the company was. Option A, in a position of significant advantage relative to competitors. Option B, moving too prematurely and risking potential financial failure. Option C, operating outside the standard regulations of the industry.
Go ahead and pause if you need a moment.
The answer is option A. If you are ahead of the game, you are prepared or successful compared to others, enjoying a clear advantage.
You're prepared before anyone else is.
Exactly. Question 7. Without the necessary capital investment, the goal of international expansion remained out of reach. When a goal is out of reach, it is option A, located geographically too far away to be practical. Option B, considered undesirable due to the high risks involved. Option C, impossible to attain due to significant existing barriers.
Pause here to think.
The correct answer is option C. When something is out of reach, it means it is impossible or too difficult to obtain, usually because of a major barrier like a lack of money or resources.
It's just not achievable at that moment.
Right. And our final quiz question, number 8. She was so dedicated to her art that she would walk through fire to get her work exhibited. The metaphor walk through fire indicates a willingness to, option A, aggressively confront and destroy any opposing critics. Option B, endure extreme hardship or suffering to achieve a goal. Option C, sacrifice ethical standards to gain a material advantage.
Final time to pause and reflect on this powerful phrase.
The correct answer is option B. To walk through fire means accepting severe hardship or pain for a desired outcome. It emphasizes that intense struggle we talked about, far more than just going the extra mile.
Absolutely. And we also noted a couple of other excellent phrases from the source material, like to act up, which we just covered.
And also to stand in the way, which means to be an obstacle that stops something from happening.
Both are really great additions for any advanced learner's vocabulary.
Definitely. Well, that wraps up our exploration of advanced English vocabulary for today. We focused on highly descriptive phrases like
Smoke and mirrors,
to tap into.
and of course, the huge commitment required to walk through fire.
Exactly.
And I think mastering these nuanced phrases really moves you beyond just being correct in English. It helps you become truly articulate. So, keep practicing.
We hope this helps you on your journey to advanced fluency. We encourage you to seek out more opportunities to challenge your English skills. Until next time.